I'm also a fan of his dying animation because the idea that he turns into those things and flies off is cool as hell. I want to say locust, but I don't want to because if I'm wrong, I don't want to be stupid. But yeah, no, I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, let's go ahead and open it up. Get our side item. Side item? What the hell's a side item? Anyway, this introduces the spinner. This is pretty cool. It has one theory attached to it. But again, that's not one we're going to get into until the later portion of the game. The theory is okay. Like, it's interesting to think about, but it's not that big of a deal. So, we're going to go ahead and use it and get out of here. It functions just like a skateboard. It's pretty cool. Well, I mean, as close to a skateboard as Link's going to get. Boom, boom, boom. It has limited use, so after a while it kind of turns itself off if you don't. But the main function for it is to use on these little tracks. And, well, they're going to go ahead and make sure we get ourselves some practice already by giving us this. Oh, I could have used those arrows. And then you push off to go to a different rail and so on. It's really cool, it's real fun. It's kind of a challenge to use if you're a first-time player, though. I'll omit that, because that was how I felt about it. But this little room is your playground that you get to use to learn how the spinner functions. And it's real satisfying to be able to go like this, super high, super fast. Like, I like that. I'm a fan of that. Die. So this is it. There you go, a heart piece, just for having yourself a fun time and casually going across. This is where it can be a little bit hectic, though. Oh, we had a good time, so it's alright. Bounce off. Bounce off. Like, it's super fun and satisfying. This is a little bit tricky to, like, get going in the forward direction if you're not careful. But as you can also see, you kind of glide across sand like it's nothing. That's super satisfying. Like, overall, it's a pretty cool item. It's just, it doesn't get much detrimental use outside of this area. So we're going to go ahead and bounce off this, bounce off that, bounce off, boom, 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 boom. Some of those were unnecessary, but it's just fun to cycle back and forth. And see, I just did that like it was nothing. We got both heart pieces inside this dungeon. We've gotten, as of this point, precisely every single dungeon item. So, that's pretty cool. And it gets... Hold on a second. Was that a blue rupee? Hell yeah, it was. Go get it. And here's another function the spinner uses. Oops. Link. If you get on the middle of it and just bounce up and down a few times, you can operate gears. So that's pretty cool, and it involves some interesting puzzles. It's not really the most fun to use in this sense, but I'll just give them credit for what they did. Because it's a thought process that obviously most video games don't think of anymore. People are like, puzzles, what are that? So, yeah. Now you get to slide up this giant staircase that's broken. Oh yeah, that was a thing. Shit, I probably should have mentioned that ages ago. This place was an execution ground, actually. There's two methods of which they would execute you, both of which we actually haven't seen yet, so I will get into that as we see it. But it's pretty cool to think that this place, again, was like a dark prison meant with banished souls. So it was also kind of theorized that the stall children and all that you see are the restless undead of those Hyrule people that were just killed off and sentenced to death by the goddess. So, I believe the term Arbiter's Ground is actually meant to revolve around judgment, which is kind of cool. But yeah, no, like, that's kind of an interesting thing. Like, I love the idea that Zelda games have, like, this creepy backstory that no one ever seems to think about, but when you do, you're like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. Anyway, mini-boss to regular boss in, like, 5 minutes. Now then, before I do this, there's a small glitch to show off. You see right here how there's these spinner tracks? And right there, there's not. Did you see what Link did there for a split second? Let's see if we can make a full rotation and see what can go happen again. But yeah, no, this thing will sling you around and mess with you because there's no actual track there, which is kind of funny. It almost looks like he's not even attached to it. Come on, Link. What else are you gonna do now that you're inside of it? Oh, no, you're not. Alright, well, fun's over. How's it going, dead guy? You still live. How astonishing. But this is truly a bittersweet reunion. Truly. For I fear this is the last time I will see you alive. Well, here's our boss. Now, the few theories surrounding this boss are the idea that it was once Volvagia or some other previous boss, which I find stupid because if it was Volvagia, it would be named Volvagia, not Star-Lord. And on top of that, they've made so many bosses in their time that some of them are bound to look alike, and even then, this looks absolutely nothing like Volvagia or any other boss. I'm sorry, deal with it. On a sense, though, this is easily one of my favorite bosses in this game. I love the idea that they made behind how you fight him. It's super creative and super clever, and I'm just an overall fan of it. I'll admit it's a little bit tedious to do, but if you get it done the right way, it's real fun. So I just like that. Alright, boom, bounce around. Like no other game that I've ever played that I can possibly think of has ever had you attack a spine to defeat something. So, holy shit, that was close. That's the appeal mostly. Like, it's clever. Like, that I like. It's just great. And again, it's just kind of fun to do, too. But, second here, I'm about to get pegged. Go ahead and kill off those guys, or maybe I won't. It is a little bit irritating in that sense, though, that, those guys kind of appear. And also, yes, it is also theorized that one of the means of execution was actually to be destroyed by this creature here, which I think is kind of cool, honestly. That's a thing I can get behind. Because, well, it makes some sort of sense, and well, it's also pretty weird, which makes it interesting. Go away. I missed completely. But also, you know, thinking about it, it kind of makes me think of Gomon, but in dragon form, the little boss on the bridge. I think it's just because they're a skeleton. Can I finish him off? Almost. Maybe not. Like, he's not hard in the sense that you'll take damage, he's just gonna take forever. But I believe after you kill his guys, they're kind of killed for good. Got him! Huzzah! We've defeated the boss! Now let's go ahead and power ourselves up so we can get out of here. Go, Link! Bounce! This part, I'll be honest and say I'm not much of a fan of. It's not as interesting. I mean, I guess it's a little bit more satisfying in the sense the, you get to fight him a little bit more, but that's about it. Also, one of the tie-ins with the music is actually that this theme is similar to not only Volvagia, but King Dodongo, which is another thing that people theorize it to be. Which, again, I'm not a fan of it. Because it's like, they've made how many bosses in their lifetime? Chances are some of them are going to look the same. Although I didn't notice that the theme was similar to, what's it called by any means, so I think that's kind of cool. I wonder if that's intentional or not, really. Are you serious? Okay, wow, that was pretty long. You know, that's an interesting thing worth note. But this also things of putting the pots on the track. I don't like that because it's just, oh hey, let's just make it artificially lengthen kind of thing. Like, that's dumb. Because now it's going to take me to get up there longer because I have to, ouch, dodge spiked pottery. See, like, he was there ready to attack me. He's like, oh, he's on the floor. I guess I'll leave and come back some other day. Maybe when he's feeling better. I'm not a fan of it. Like, how is that really going to do me any... See, like, it didn't even do me any good. It just put me back down at the bottom. It's stupid. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, if you're trying to make a challenge, that's one thing, but that's just artificial difficulty. One plus side, though, is the second he starts shooting his fireballs, the spiked pottery just becomes non-existent as a whole. So you don't have to worry about that. Oh! I just like that he floats next to me and then just opens his mouth. He's like, oh! One thing I do kind of find interesting and also weird about this is the idea that people have actually counted how many teeth he has along with Volvagia and use that for research purposes. Like, I think that's cool. That's like, oh wow, you noticed this? Like, someone's paid that much attention, but it's also weird because it's like, oh wow, someone's paid that much attention. So, I have mixed feelings on it. And now that they put spiked pottery on the other side, that really doesn't help anything at all, either. But it's gone now, so... How's it going? Are you enjoying your day, sir? May I interest you in some coffee? Holy shit, that was close. I shouldn't be that much of a jackass. Ah! His face, man, I just love it. You know, it's also theorized to be Dodongo, but there's science that kind of just counters both of them, which are very valid points, and it's just an overall crap theory, so, yeah. Alright, let's go. We're close to the Mirror of Twilight. It's so big! And I think it was beating too. One thing I do kind of commend people like Link and Lara Croft for is the idea that they're courageous enough to be able to enter an area like this and not be worried about how they're going to leave. Because if it wasn't for that bridge coincidentally just showing up, we'd pretty much have no way of leaving. Just a thought.